I fully regret studying property management business, and if you're thinking about whether or not this is the right industry, right business for you, make sure you watch this until the end before you make your final decision. My name is Ping. I started my property management business back in 2016 and scaled it up to 800 units. Currently, we only have 3 employees with many different AI agents operating the entire operation. In today's video, I'm going to break it down all the ugly side about property management business and why you shouldn't or maybe should start a business. But if you can handle all the stress and problems I'm about to share with you, this also might be a really good opportunity for you. Number one, you gotta realize that property management business is a lot of emotions, right? You're dealing with tenants, you're dealing with landlords, you're dealing with vendors, and a lot of these people, you're kind of just being sandwiched between all 3 parties. Wherever there's any issues, the tenant's going to be reaching out to you. Something breaks, they started having argument with the neighbors, maybe they have roommates and they were just having disagreement. They're gonna be reaching out to you all the time. And for landlords, they hire you because they just don't want to be listening to any of this. But one thing that the landlords will always do is that they're going to be looking at the bills and question every single thing that you do. And for the vendors, it's a little bit better, but sometimes you have an unreliable contacts that you're testing out and they say they're going to show up at the door, they didn't, or maybe they show up late or just didn't get the work done, and you end up getting the tenant complaints and you're still getting the bill, and now the landlord complains to you. So all that stuff is very, very common in property management industry. One of the really important skill set is to be able to set up the right expectation for all parties, vendors, tenants, landlords, and sometimes, by the way, landlords also have a wrong expectation. Just because they're investor, it doesn't actually make them an educated or seasoned investors. So this is where you have to do a lot of education and maybe establish a standardized process for all 3 parties to follow. And also one of the really important skills that you 100% will pick up is how to de-escalate any sort of situation. The moment that you have problems or dispute, a lot of times it only takes a good listener and also be able to recognize or break down the problems for the other side. So naturally speaking, when you're in this industry, you're going to naturally pick up a lot of communication skills just by dealing with people issues. And number 2 is that you have to be building the operation based on the 24/7 availability. And this part to a lot of people is actually very challenging. They want to clock out after 6 p.m., 7, 8 p.m. But with property management, wherever there's any emergency, tenants will reach out to you. Toilet is not working, doors not locking, and all that stuff. Maybe they got locked out because they forgot to bring their keys and their roommates locked the door. First person they're gonna reach out to you is you as a property manager and not a locksmith. So before you have a system in place and even the right contacts to dispatch to, you're going to be tied into the operation for the first year, maybe even 2. And this is a part that you actually need to be prepared before starting this property management division or business for yourself. It can be very exhausting, it can be very tiring, but on the flip side, anytime there's an after-hour repairs or emergency situation, this is where you can build the landlords, your clients, on dealing with or solving the issues. And as you're building out this business unit, you can also start setting a right expectation, establish the SOP for both landlord, tenants, vendors. And by the time that you have the property management software system in place and maybe even employees in place, this is how you can remove yourself away from this entire operation and you no longer have to worry about the late night calls. And number 3 is that you're going to be doing a lot of dirty work for real estate investors. It's basically all the things that real estate investors don't want to do. If you're thinking about creating long-term wealth and have that investor mentality, property management business is definitely going to affect your ego, because the moment that you started seeing tenants not taking care of the property, trash the property, not paying the rent, you're the one who's going to be showing up, knocking on the door and have that tough conversation with them. And wherever the property is not being kept and it creates a pest control issue, guess what? As a property manager, you're going to be the one who's stepping in and solve that issue for the landlords. So if you want your identity to be a high-level investors, asset management companies and all that stuff, property management definitely isn't for you. Starting a PM company will literally affect your mental state quite a bit. But if you're willing to grind it out for the next 1 to 2 years, build up a system, and eventually become the owner of a property management company, this business will literally become such a strong foundation for the brokerage business as well as the real estate firm. Because the deal flow, the relationship that you build with the investors are going to really become a booster for your next journey. I questioned myself about scaling this business multiple times until I hit 350 units, because honestly, you go through burnout, you deal with all the emotions, you just get very sick and tired of this business initially. But once I see how realtors and brokers are struggling with the real estate transaction business during the downturn, and my property management business was still thriving, it still continued to give me the right return every single time. And this is when I realized that all my effort actually pays off long term, because at that time, all I need to do is to get investors to buy one more property, I can literally double my entire business again. So dirty work is all temporary. Once you have the system, staff in place, this is where you can get out of the operation and be a proud owner of a property management company. And the last one is that you're gonna get sued. Okay, as a property management owner or investors, it's almost impossible for you to not to get sued. And the reason why I mean by that is like wherever there's a tenant and landlord dispute, your property management company name will always be in the lawsuit, because guess what? You're the middleman. You're the point of contact for both landlord and tenants. And regardless of who's right or wrong, this is just something that I experienced very early on. The landlord who's not approving the certain repairs and tenants get upset, file their lawsuit, and this is where next thing you know you're in there. It's not your fault, you're not a decision maker, but the tenants will always sue you because they don't know who the landlord is. And this is why documentation is very important. I went from worrying and concerned about the legal actions and all that stuff to the point where I know that I just need to present my evidence on that. As a property management company, we have the right agreement for tenants and landlords, and we document all the communication correspondence, and this is where we can avoid a lot of the liability. And obviously, having the tenants to purchase their tenant insurance is really important. And you're having a general business insurance plus the E&O insurance will literally fully protect you from all the claims coming from the landlords as well. In reality, a lot of issues is still between the landlords and tenants. As a property management business, we're just facilitating all of this together. And this is why it's extremely important for us to not just establish the SOP, set our expectation, we also end up implementing a lot of AI agents to be facilitating those type of daily communication. We didn't just build it for customer support, we also try to create a bit of a layer and have a proper documentation from all parties. For vendors, once they complete the work, they usually send out the invoice, and we have another AI agent takes over the invoice, analyze it, update the pricing for description into the property management software, and then upload the invoice. And we always have the AI agent to also summarize the work that's required, get the quotes from the vendors, and then send it over to the lenders for approval. And just want to demonstrate about how AI agent works. Basically, every time there's a request that comes in here, we'll block up the address in here, but it will actually tell us the priority, the category, and the issue. This is all being summarized by the AI so that it removes the emotional, I guess, wording in here. So when we're reading it, it's very logical. Okay, something is broken. Okay, there's a certain protocol that we need to go through. But the very first thing that the AI is going to do is actually reply to clarify 1, 2, 3, 4 points in here, and then just need to say yes to send, or edit to modify, or skip the troubleshooting, and then we can take it over manually. So most of the time, 80% of the time, we're able to actually just handle this. And having the AI in place actually reduce 30% of the maintenance workload, because guess what? As soon as we push things back and then we ask the tenants to look at certain things, and 30% of the time the tenants can actually look into the problem, solve it quickly, let us know, or not reporting back again, and then we can close off the task without having to get our team members, vendors, or even landlords involved in a repairs like this. Once you have the AI agents to handle this entire process, you're also minimizing this liability, and having the AI agent really increase the margin of the property management business. And that's why in 2026, if you know how to build and deploy the AI agents in your PM business, and this is how you can reduce your liability and scale up your PM business.
So here are the 4 steps you should know in 2026 as a property management company owner.
If you want to know exactly how we use AI agents to be handling the maintenance flow, leasing flow, admin flow, give this video a watch.